Trap squad, 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 trap squad. Hey, clickbaity political. Yeah, Thirsttrap, trap squad, squirrel squad. Our mission is critical to speak the truth to the masses. Yeah. We here for the fight. We ain't started, but we here to finish it. Sick and tired of seeing the privilege. Take advantage of the weak and the innocent. So we let our voice be heard. Every single weeknight. Unapologetic. Black people, despite this white supremacist system that we live through on a daily, we still throwing up those acorns cause we represent clickbaity. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad, throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad, throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad,
Thirst trap. Yeah, it seemed like doesn't even matter how many times you hear that track, how many times you hear our intro music. Every time you hear that intro music, doesn't it turn you up just a little bit, just a tiny bit? What's up, man? Welcome one and all. Ladies, gentlemen, non-gender conforming individuals to another episode of Clickbaity, Political Thirst Trap. I am your host, Marcus Farrell, and you are rocking with 2 out of the 4 people today that create Clickbaity, Political Thirst Trap. I am on with my producer, Tunde, Mondale Robinson, the other host of Clickbaity, Political Thirst Trap. He is traveling. He is out of pocket. I am traveling also, but he's actually traveling, and I am in a hotel room somewhere in America doing my thing, and I'll be headed back to Atlanta, Georgia tonight. But I decided to go ahead and jump on real quick. We're going to try to give you a good show before 8 o'clock. And, because Marcus loves you the most. I know, a couple of days ago, Mondale tried to fool y'all into believing that he loves you the most. But if he loves you the most, then his ass would have shown up to today's show. I'm just messing around with you guys. Welcome to another episode of Clickbait for Thirsttrap. We're going to get into this real quick. The first thing I want to do is I want to recognize and acknowledge good things that happen, but I also want to acknowledge the facade and mess that happens also. And I'm also making my coffee. Hey, isn't Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap in the morning time like a really good coffee? I got some really good news for y'all that y'all won't, that the Trap Squad and Squirrel Gang just absolutely would not believe is possible. But there might be some good things coming soon. And the last thing that you would think of in the world for Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap might happen. That's all I'm gonna say. The last thing that y'all would even possibly think of could happen. But we're gonna leave that alone and we're gonna go into it. AP News. Let me open this article up. AP News, the big news for me today, and I think it should be a big news for everyone because you guys know that on Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap, we are a show that centers Blackness. And we're going to keep centering Blackness, and we're not going to stop doing that because that is what we like and that is what we enjoy. And we are African Americans. And we don't feel like, there's enough conversations about the atrocities that happened to our ancestors during their period of enslavement. So according to the AP and according to some of my people on the Hill, Congress approves bill to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. And today, Joe Biden plans on having a very big pomp and circumstance to turn Juneteenth into a federal holiday. So I don't know if we have horns Tunde, but I believe that Juneteenth should be a federal holiday. And this is a very, very good thing. So if we don't have horns, then I just bring the horns up myself. Shout out to Congress. Shout out to Shout out to the Senate. Shout out to Joe Biden. Shout out to anybody who has the willpower to acknowledge slavery, enslavement of African Americans, and Juneteenth. And Juneteenth is a celebration of our freedom. But we also have to sort of mention the awkward silence that is a part of this actually passing. Because we know that when the federal government or government in general gives us something, there's always a magical caveat. Y'all wondering what I'm doing? I'm making my coffee, my little hotel coffee, right? Cool. There's always a caveat that we should throw in there. The federal government probably is going to do. And I want everybody to think about this real quick. When it comes down to Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday, yes, very good, very awesome, well done. But that means that if they are acknowledging that slavery happened during the same time period where folks are trying to end critical race theory, you know, a class that's basically only taught to college level and college level students, if not law school students, right? Then if you acknowledge this, there's Juneteenth as a federal holiday, then you absolutely have to acknowledge reparations. There you go. There goes, I know y'all are out there like, come, there goes Marcus again. There goes Marcus with this reparations talk. You damn right. You damn right. You got damn right. I'm gonna keep talking about reparations in Rep 1. So if you have the gall and the skill set and the policy and the thought process to bring up Juneteenth, then you need to automatically be willing to accept that slavery happened and it actually happened, and we are still feeling the ramifications of African Americans being enslaved to this day. So I believe this was passed to give politicians who don't support reparations sort of a pass to the Black folks. This is another kente cloth moment, except people who work for the federal government might have a day off, right? But this is a sort of a kente cloth kneeling politician moment where, again, I'm happy about it. I'm happy they're recognizing it, but it's also not a thing that is going to provide tangible change to Black communities across the nation. That's right, folks. They gave us a day off. They gave some of y'all a day off. Some of y'all gonna be going to work anyway. So let's not cap on that one also, right? So this is a moment for us in America to actually recognize that we need to add Rep 1 to our policies. Rep 1 should have been attached to so many bills. Reparations should have been attached, should have its own bill, HR 40. HR 40, I hope Biden today recognizes that and says this in the speech, whatever he's going to say, that in order to properly recognize Juneteenth, we need to end the filibuster and we need to pass HR 40. And even HR 40 in itself is somewhat of a weak sauce when it comes down to adequate reparations. But the conversations need to start. And I'm so disappointed in the federal government that even them acknowledging enslavement is a sort of a win. You dig? And they know that too. That's why they passed it. It's easy to give a day off, right? It's very easy to give a day off. So, you know, once we get over the symbolism and the conversations of around the symbolism that they call Juneteenth, and then we get into some tangible actions, I like things that actually make some sort of sense when it comes down to actually starting conversations. And I hope a dialogue and I hope a conversation around reparations starts with an official dedication of Juneteenth being a national holiday. Happy Juneteenth, happy future Juneteenth. There's one more thing I want to bring up about Juneteenth. White people, this is not the Black version of Cinco de Mayo. Let me catch one of y'all motherfuckers coming to the bar, getting lit with a dashiki, talking about some Happy Juneteenth, bruh. Yo, bruh. We're down for the cause. We're down for the ex-slaves. We're down for the formerly enslaved people. Look here, Chad, dude. Get your ass whooped. I think the Mexican Americans should be whipping y'all ass already for that nonsense y'all be doing with sombreros and painting your face, and you have no idea of what Mexican independence is about. So you better damn sure know that your black neighbors right around the corner from your house are not accepting. We are officially, before this even starts, we are officially not accepting you wearing dashikis or the colors of the diaspora, red, black, and green, unless you have blatant permission from somebody that won't whip your ass. But I think there's too many of us. So do not play no goddamn games with Juneteenth going forward. Even though we know it's a symbolic holiday, it's not your symbolic holiday, home skillet. That's all I got, and that's all I got to say about that. Good morning, Trap Squad. How y'all doing? I see y'all in the comment sections. I see you guys online. Please remember to go and like and share this post on Facebook. Rock and roll with us on Twitter. Send us a super chat. We're always going to ask for a little money because Tunde is not a free brother, but he does an amazing job. Tunde doing an amazing job doing this work for us. I would like for you guys to go check out blackmalevoterproject.com. That's Mondale Robinson's org. Please go check out Restorative Roots on every social media platform. Restorative Roots, look it up. That is my cannabis company. African-American owned cannabis. We are going to start selling t-shirts here soon. And I want to see all of you guys sending me inbox pictures of our t-shirts that say Black owned cannabis on the t-shirts, because it's important that we diversify this industry before it gets out of hand. Thank you guys. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all my folks. Sugar Booger, Tyler, Shalonda B, Melanie, Sun Queen, It Getter 9, Chuck Deasy, Melanie, Oreo Cookies. Everybody in the chat room, man, we want to say what's up to. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. We got some more news this morning. Tucker Carlson, Fox News darling, white man extraordinaire. The single reason why I stopped wearing bow ties with my fedoras. Tucker Carlson is the single reason that I stopped wearing bow ties. Because I heard his sister roast Tucker Carlson in his bow tie, saying that, and this might be problematic, but I'm just repeating what somebody else said, saying that his bow ties were not manly enough because they didn't go down like a regular tie, and he was the embodiment of that. And it sort of made me, even though I'm very confident in my manhood, it sort of made me rethink bow ties. But maybe I should own it. Maybe I should get back to my bow ties and just own the bow tie situation and take the bow tie away from the reverse gentrify the bow tie. That's what I should do. Tucker Carlson. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm just going to let you guys hear what he had to say. You guys ready? Tunde, run it.
Actually, every single case, they were FBI operatives. Really? In the Capitol on January 6th. For example, one of those unindicted co-conspirators is someone government documents identify only as Person 2. According to those documents, Person 2 stayed in the same hotel room as a man called Thomas Caldwell, an insurrectionist, a man alleged to be a member of the group the Oath Keepers. Person 2 also, quote, stormed the barricades at the Capitol on January 6th alongside Thomas Caldwell. The government's indictments further indicate that Caldwell, who, by the way, is a 65-year-old man, this dangerous insurrectionist, was led to believe there would be a, quote, quick reaction force also participating on January 6th. That quick reaction force, Caldwell was told, would be led by someone called Person 3, who had a hotel room and an accomplice with him. But wait, here's the interesting thing. Person 2 and Person 3 were organizers of the riot. The government knows who they are, but the government has not charged them. Why is that? You know why. They were almost certainly working for the FBI. So FBI operatives were organizing the attack on the Capitol on January 6th, according to government documents. And those two are not alone. In all, Revolver News reported that there are, quote, upwards of 20 unindicted co-conspirators in the Oath Keeper indictment, all playing various roles in the conspiracy, who have not been charged for virtually the exact same activities, and in some cases, much, much more severe activities, as those named alongside them in the indictments. Huh? So it turns out that this white supremacist insurrection was, again, by the government's own admission in these documents, organized at least in part by government agents. Are you shocked? We're shocked. We shouldn't be shocked. Because in March, the FBI director admitted that the Bureau is infiltrating as many dissident groups that oppose the regime as it possibly can.
Tucker Carlson needs to be fired. Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. As much as the right wing and some Democrats complain about canceling people, how is this motherfucker staying on television? I don't understand that. I just don't get it. So first, let's talk about the FBI. Because I don't want to draw the FBI's ire, right? But the FBI watches everything and everybody, point blank. And let me tell you something that the FBI is not doing. There's not NAM, and I say that in Trick Daddy Trina, you don't know NAM. There's not NAM FBI agent who had NAM thing to do with NAM what happened on January 6th. That didn't happen, folks. The FBI was not setting up conservatives. The FBI was not working with special theory folks. The FBI was not working with the Oath Keepers and people who support Donald Trump and Trump supporters on January 6th. January 6th is a scar to the whole movement that is trying to be bred out of the new America, the emerging America, the diversity of America, the equity conversations of America, the conversations around taking down Confederate statues in America, the conversations around equity, diversity in corporate America, the conversations around being able to have honest conversations about enslavement in America and the history of slavery and immigration in America. January 6th is a very key point and a key problem for conservatives because they know they did it. They know that their movement did it, and they have to misplace and sleight of hand their supporters and basically America with conspiracy theories so they won't be blamed. Because one classical thing about, and I'm not going to say conservatives even, I think it's bigger than conservatives. I think it is just the blatant white supremacy that is a part of the conservative movement. Because I do think there's a white supremacy that's also a part of the liberal movement. So I'm going to say white supremacy here. I'm not even going to say conservatives, because all conservatives, there are a lot of conservatives who are like literally saying, nah, you know, y'all messed up on January 6th. And I want to give like props where props are due. Now don't get me wrong. You guys still vote with these people who want to suppress Black voters, but they need January 6th to just go away. I'm pretty surprised that they haven't. Well, actually, I was about to say I'm surprised they haven't blamed Black Lives Matter, but they initially did blame Black Lives Matter until they figured out that there was only one or two Black people out there, and those people definitely weren't Black Lives Matter. Tucker Carlson and his sleight of hand is allowed to have a platform that can push conspiracy theories and reinforce this false narrative with white supremacist voters and people who are leaning white supremacists, because I believe that white supremacy is a party of itself right now. Tucker Carlson is allowed to push conspiracy theories that if anybody on the left were to push that same type of narrative, other Democrats, because we know that moderate Democrats will make liberal Democrats apologize for everything. They would have made us apologize for it, and we probably would have lost our job if we made up any lie. that was made up. If we said the FBI, if we got on MSNBC, imagine this right here. If someone got on, if Joy Ann Reid, y'all, I know some of y'all love her, some of y'all hate her, but if Joy Ann Reid got on MSNBC and said, the FBI conspired with Black Lives Matter, the FBI conspired with Black Lives Matter to storm the Capitol. If Black Lives Matter ever decided to storm the Capitol, which we know that wouldn't happen because we like living, right? Joy Ann Reid wouldn't have a show anymore. But this is a perfect example about how white supremacy is allowed to continue and grow. Tucker Carlson should have been fired. I see a lot of you folks in the comment section sitting up here screaming and having conversation about his face and what y'all want to do to his face. I don't want to do nothing with Tucker Carlson's face. I want him to stop disrespecting both sides. And I also want him to just, find a very big conservative hole and go crawl in it. So, yeah, Fox News is doing what Fox News does the best. And white supremacy is allowing Fox News to continue pushing narratives. And I only can wonder if the FBI isn't somewhere listening to Tucker Carlson, like, how can we get him? How did he manage to put our names in this? Yes, absolutely. The FBI is a policing agency. The FBI is a law enforcement agency. The FBI is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The FBI has a long track record documented for doing African Americans wrong. The FBI owes African Americans, the CIA owes African Americans an apology, right? But on the same token, they've historically defended whiteness. And the conservative universe is literally going after an organization that has always pretty much had their back. That's how far they're willing to make enemies to make sure that they don't have to get held accountable for anything. America, this January 6th might be the first time that a mass group of white people messed up and have to be held accountable. And it's the FBI's job to actually hold them accountable. This is a Democratic administration, but what they did at the Capitol was a very illegal thing. So, Tucker Carlson, man, don't mess with the FBI. I hope they come after you. Because that's ridiculous. And we're going to move on this morning because we got three more things that I want to touch this morning, but we might not get to it because at 8 o'clock, I'm calling this thing in. Governor Greg Abbott announces that Texas is providing initial $250 million down payment for a border wall. Yep, let's see this clip.
Begin with that new push to build a border wall. Governor Abbott picking up where President Trump left off, announcing today the details of his plan for Texas to build its own wall. That includes a big down payment of your tax money, $250 million. Meredith Yeomans walks us through where that cash is coming from and what we know about what happens next.
House and Senate.
Flanked by Republican lawmakers, Governor Abbott revealing his controversial plan to build a border wall, citing a, quote, tidal wave of illegal immigrants.
Texans on the border are suffering through a humanitarian crisis by having their lives disrupted with guns and gangs and being riddled with crime.
Announcing a $250 million down payment transferred from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice budget. Abbott then made a plea for public donations to cover costs.
President Biden.
He signed a letter to President Biden demanding land taken to build the border wall be returned to Texas.
The combination of state land as well as volunteer land will yield hundreds of miles to build a border wall in Texas.
Abbott did not say how long the wall will be or how much it will cost. LULAC National President Domingo Garcia is against the wall and today threatened legal action.
This is a total waste of dollars for a political agenda that most Texans don't believe or support.
Shout out to LULAC!
The wall, Rich Stoglin with the Frederick Douglass Republicans of Tarrant County.
We just can't let these people come in without any regulations, stipulations, and say, well, y'all just act right and we expect that.
The plan for the state of Texas.
Abbott
to
first
begin
announced Texas
building
plans
the
to build a
border
wall during a trip to Del Rio last week, a plan that appears to be on the fast track. The search for a project manager is now underway. Meredith Yeomans, NBC5.
$250 million to a border wall from the state of Texas, when I just want to immediately remind you guys that earlier this year, there was a cold snap that literally had some Texans paying $20,000, $35,000 for their electricity bill. Don't you think $250 million would better serve Texans if they did something with their power grid, maybe? You remember how Texans had to move across the country, and that senator that they have over there, what's that chump's name? Yeah, Ted Cruz. When Ted Cruz decided to jump on a plane while millions of Texans were going through not having heat and power because their whack-ass grid, their electricity grid, their power grid. Don't you think $250 million would go a long way into fixing their power grid for people who are currently living in Texas? Don't you guys think for a second that we should start, and this is Republican and Democrats, y'all would much rather, y'all are chasing the dragon without the heroine when it comes down to trying to criminalize Mexicans, Latinx folks, and saying that it's their fault that a wall, and by the way, guys, if I recall, Texas is a big ass state. So that border wall would be pretty goddamn long, don't you think?
Well, if I can hop in here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Marcus. So there's a couple of things about this story that are just hilarious. For one, they're doing this. They're going to do everything in this except for build a wall, right? I just want to let everybody know that off top, right? So literally they're going to do everything but build the wall, right? What they're really trying to do, because how does it make sense? They had an issue with even Trump, when Trump was saying he was going to build a wall. The actual people who, whose private property it was at the border were like, no, you're not, because they absolutely don't want somebody building a wall on their private property, right? So why are they doing an about face now? They wouldn't, right? So what they want to do is basically use this 250 million to say, look, we'll take this back from the federal government and we'll quote unquote build a wall. But they have no intention of doing anything of the sort. But then also remember that they want the taxpayers in Texas to pay for this wall when even for when the Trump was saying they were going to do build a wall and all that other stuff, didn't they get in trouble because they didn't they collected the money for it but didn't actually build a wall? Like I think it says here in the article, Abbott's plan to crowdfund the border wall construction is reminiscent of the We Build the Wall, a private fundraising effort that raised more than $25 million for construction of a border wall last year. 4 people involved in We Build the Wall, including Steve Bannon, Trump's former advisor, were charged with allegedly defrauding donors to the effort. Trump pardoned Bannon before leaving in January.
Tunde, and what's funny about this right here is he actually asked people, Abbott said he expected people to both donate their own money and volunteer their own land for the burial. All right, now check this out. Did you know that it wasn't only white people who own land in America? I know white people own most of the land. Matter of fact, let me change that because I'm trying to be a little bit more nuanced. Did you know that more than white supremacists own land in America? There are socially conscious white people, black people, and Mexican Americans who own property. There's even Mexican citizens that own property along the border on the American side of the border. All right. Do you think for a second they're going to donate so you can build an ugly ass wall? But more importantly, how is Greg Abbott asking for people to donate money, their own money, for a project that looks eerily reminiscent to the defraudment that was the Build the Wall project that Trump had? How are you blatantly going to do that, the exact same thing over again, and expect to not get in trouble? White supremacy.
Absolutely. And
that's how.
and they're putting up their quote unquote a down payment of 250 million. I wish everybody could see my air quotes right now. A down payment for 250 million. But that's a drop in the bucket for what it's actually going to take to complete a wall. So it's a no-win situation. Like if you start building the wall, you're never going to finish it, or you're going to have to raise so much money that it's inconceivable that instead of using that money on literally anything else, education, homelessness, throw out any sort of program you want to throw out, instead of using that money for that, you're going to build a wall that's literally never going to be finished. Like it's a big ass border. You're never going to finish that. So what is even the point?
No.
Yeah.
Listen, the Great Wall of China, it would be longer than the Great Wall of China, wouldn't it? We got to figure that one out. I want to get the stats on that. What's longer? The imaginary wall from, what is that, Louisiana to New Mexico? The imaginary wall from Louisiana to Mexico? I guess they would start at, they wouldn't start in Louisiana. They would start in Austin, maybe? Like, where's the water? I need to get a map. I need y'all to help me out with that. But that wall, is it San Antonio? You gotta figure it out. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Texans. Don't get mad at me. I tend to stay away from Texas because of shit like what we're talking about right now. So, don't blame me. You know what I mean? And by the way, would y'all stop coming to Atlanta? I just want y'all to stop coming for a second. Now I know Kasim wants y'all to come, and I know that Keisha Lance Bottoms wants y'all to come. I need y'all to stay home for a second because we got some things to figure out in Atlanta right now. And that's all I'm gonna say. We'll get back to that. Texas is a hot mess. I don't know. Go ahead, Tunde, because
yeah, no, this story is crazy, but because we're running short on time, I think we should talk about this mansion story. Because it's
Would you
pretty wild.
Would you run that? Yeah. Would you run the clip for?
Yeah, we only have audio because it was an audio thing, but I'll play it for everybody here.
Yeah, Joe Manchin.
Bill, the most that Manchin talks about money in this meeting is in the following clip. Let's play that part.
The bottom line is just find out who basically cares more about the country and who about themselves. I don't know how to tell you that. You would not be in your positions that you are and the success you've had if you couldn't read people and tell if it's self-service or public service. And they can only BS you so long. Pretty much the truth comes out. And right now what I'm asking for, I need to go back. I need to find 3 more good Republican senators that'll vote for the commission so that at least we can tamp them down to where people say Republicans won't even do the simple lift, common sense of basically voting to do a commission that was truly bipartisan. So once the people, and it just really emboldens the far left saying, I showed you, how's that bipartisan working for you now, Joe? Those are the hard things. That's where I need help, Dan.
Later in this episode, we'll talk more about the commission.
Yeah, okay. So before we...
Hold on. Interest in the commission, but
this is an important part.
What he seems to be saying here, Lee, is that he's getting a direct question from a donor, about where they should direct their finances. And what he's telling them is that, look, I need help getting more Republicans to join, to vote for this January 6th commission, because it's giving the far left all of this ammunition to say, look, see, you can't work with these Republicans. How are you going to cut a deal with them when they won't even investigate the January 6th ransacking of Capitol? That's even after they were given everything they asked for on the commission. So he's saying those are the people that you need to send your money to, which is, okay, I guess he's trying to save democracy or something, but he's coming pretty close there to saying that he would like people, he's pretty much directly saying that he wants donors to finance Republicans so that they will endorse the January 6th commission so that he can save the filibuster, so that he can then help those donors enact all of their much broader agenda. And he doesn't just stop there. Immediately afterwards, he starts naming names and telling them specifically who they should go after. So let's just roll that clip right from there.
And here's the thing. Let me just tell you. Okay, I'll give you some Roy Blunt is just a good friend of mine, a great guy, okay? You would like to think that Roy's retiring. If some of you all who might be working with Roy in his next life could tell him that would be nice to help our country, that would be very good to get him to change his vote. And we're going to have another vote on this thing.
Okay, that's incredible. Let's stop that right there, Lee. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
wow. Roy
Yeah.
Blunt is
Hold on,
great. Just a
before-
good friend of mine. Okay, you would like to think that Roy is retiring. If some of you all might want to, basically, if some of you all might be working with Roy in his next life, could tell him that it'd be nice to and help our country. He is specifically telling them.
That's a revolving door. He's offering him, saying, "Hey, if you want to offer Roy Blunt a job when he joins your corporate board,
And let him know. Let him know now that you will do that, which is not legal. Let's be clear. Like
Right.
that would break the law.
So Tunde, Trap Squad. I look at this as them saying the quiet part out loud. Joe Manchin is just doing what we all knew that Joe Manchin is doing. And the interesting part about this is the possible contrast between the African-American leaders, or quote unquote leaders, that had a conversation with Joe Manchin and how they came to him with the ask. And now these folks are representing different segments of a country, of a whole community, and how they came to him with the ask. And he pretty much brushed it off. And this was last week. In comparison to Joe Manchin coming hat in hand to the billionaires, trying to make his political interests look good. How to try to make use his political connections to give Republicans jobs and a victory. And he even verbalized the consequences that he's going through with holding a position on not ending the filibuster by saying things like, well, you're giving the far left the chance to say, hey, how's that bipartisan working out for you? You damn right, how's that bipartisan working out for you, Joe Manchin? It's not going to work out for you. Because any possibility of taking away corporate interests from campaigns hurts Republicans. Any possible way of empowering African Americans to not lose their right to vote does not help white supremacy. Any possible way of doing anything with the current, basically left-leaning, moderate Joe Biden administration is going to be the exact opposite of what Republicans do. And your dumbass thinks that you can parlay billionaires to give Republicans who are about to retire from the Senate jobs so they could possibly support a watered down version of HR 1. It's a goddamn shame.
Yeah.
It's go ahead.
Let me give the people a little context in terms of what was even going on there. So what this was a leaked conversation that he was actually having with basically major donors. So this wasn't meant to be revealed. And so he was having a private call with I think actually Joe Lieberman's I don't know what kind of organization that they run, but they essentially fund
it's a donor table. It's like we have them on the liberal side too. It's a moderate donor table full of rich people who normally help out moderate Democrats. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so this was given over Zoom. So obviously this was leaked to The Intercept. So shout out to Ryan Graham and Lee Fang or Lee Fong. I forget how it's pronounced. But yeah, if you have the time, we clearly don't have the time to get into it here, and it's fairly long, but there's a few segments in there that is just stunning, the stuff that he just openly admits. He touches on the Voting Rights Act that's currently up in terms of his opposition to it, that it's not really even an opposition. It's not with the points that he brings up, he basically just sounds like a Republican. Remove the D next to his name, and you would just automatically think he's a Republican. Based off of what he's saying.
Yeah.
And so it's I don't think that there's enough noise being made about this right now because it's stunning in terms of how like just say like Joe Biden or just like the Democratic Party gives people like Manchin so much power. But these are the things that he's saying. He's basically saying, I don't have like a core ideology that aligns or is supposed to align with the Democratic Party, but I have a D next to my name, so that means I'm a Democrat. But really, at the end of the day, I just need my big donors to do favors for me, to pay off these politicians with bribes, such as getting a job after they retire, and doing all this stuff. It's stunning. If you have the time, go listen to it. It's pretty wild.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna make a very, very simple clickbaity moment here. Joe Manchin is a fuckboy, and he's not a Democrat. And I would like to see Democrats start giving Joe Manchin more of that negative energy that they save and reserve for people like me and folks who are watching this show, and Nina Turner and Bernie Sanders. Like, give Joe Manchin that energy, because he's the fucking problem, not people who want to help get us free. You know what I mean? Like, give Joe Manchin that fuckboy energy, because he's trying to produce that back for us. I need y'all to tell me exactly what Remix is, by the way. I see everybody in the chat room talking about Remix. Y'all gonna have to hold off on Remix for a second, because we got one last article. And that is
it's 8 right now. Do you want to get to it?
Yeah, we're gonna get to this last one. We got to it, then I'm cutting this off. You ready? You ready for it?
Yeah, let's go.
You ready for it?
Yeah.
Conservative politician Deanne Lawrence says that Megan Thee Stallion is running over a politician in a new music video is potentially referring to her. Let's do it.
Yeah, let me run the clip.
In the Stallion's latest video, she's referring to potentially me, because we feuded in the past with her videos like WAP, but probably just the conservative political commentators on a whole that have called her out for her music videos and her outrageous, degrading songs in the past. So if I were to run again for office, I would say, look, we need to actually have better music and better examples, positive role models in our media.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all like this right here.
Well,
that thought shit. Awesome.
This is the part of the music video that she's talking about.
That's right. Let's go.
So it's just a white dude, a white politician dude, getting like run over by a car, and she's like, "Oh, it's about me." What was the funny part about this is Megan's response. So I don't know if you can see it there. She says,
Perfect.
Which is the only way you can respond to
that's the only way you can respond to it. So before we go, Trap Squad, Squirrel Gang, before we go, y'all go over, y'all tag Three Stallion to Clickbaity, and y'all just say this right here. We agree. Because at the end of the day, it's not that important, but at the end of the day, our sisters are allowed to have their freedom to actually be sexually independent. If you have a problem with it, you can turn it off. The same way I feel about Megan Thee Stallion, the same way I feel about Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it, right? That's perfectly fine. It's important for us to have freedoms, especially in a day and age where conservatives are trying to ban history, basic history. So, if you identify white lady, if you identify with a white man getting run over with a tie, then you're just trying to make waves. You're just trying to get known. And it actually works, so we can't pay shit like this attention. Anyway, Tunde, thank you for rocking with us. You have watched another episode of Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. I am Marcus Farrell. Please go check out Black Male Voter Project. Please go check out restorative-roots.net. Please go check out all positive shows, man. Like shout out to the Ben Dixon Show and what they're doing over there. Shout out to Tim Black. Shout out to Nomiki. Shout out to all the progressive folks. Shout out to my brother Jason Johnson. I don't care if y'all don't like him. Shout out to everybody who's trying to do anything. Do you, be yourself. Enjoy your goddamn day. We'll see you next Tuesday. Peace out. Clickbaity out of here.
Trap Squad, 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 Trap Squad.
Hey, Clickbaity political.
critical. Yeah, Thirsttrap, Trap Squad, Squirrel Squad, our mission is critical. To speak the truth to the masses. We here for the fight. We ain't started, but we here to finish it. Sick and tired of seeing the privilege. Take advantage of the weak and the innocent. So we let a voice be heard. Every single weeknight. Unapologetic. Black people, despite this white supremacist system that we live through on a daily, we still throwing up those acorns cause we represent clickbaity. Trap Squad, Trap Squad, Trap Squad, let me hear ya. Trap Squad, Trap Squad, throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap Squad, Trap Squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap Squad, Trap Squad, Trap Squad, Thirsttrap, Trap Squad, Trap Squad, Trap Squad, let me hear ya. Trap Squad, Trap Squad, throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap Squad, Trap Squad, yeah I see you.